chaplain. Uncover.
O God of eternal and everlasting King of heaven and earth, we render you acknowledgement of your supreme dominion over us and gratitude for your paternal solicitude and watchfulness. As we gather here in humble recognition of your divine providence, we beseech you to usher into our world of confusion and doubt the peace and tranquility which alone can come from you. Bless and protect our nation. Be merciful to our honored dead. In memory of valor and courage, heroism inspires us to enable action and eternal vigilance in the preservation of priceless liberty and inalienable rights to enduring happiness. Amen.
Amen.
Cover. You may be seated. At this time, I'll introduce the officers of the Legion. The third Vice President, Chuck Knowles. Adjutant, Chuck Martin. Treasurer, Al Hanna. Sergeant at Arms, Ed Massey. Service Officer, Art Smith. Chaplain, Bob Woosner. Trustees, Charles Sager and Tony Fraz. At this time, the ladies will introduce their officers.
I have Norma Adio, my chaplain, Aggie O'Leary, my treasurer, and Helen Giovanelli, my historian, and myself, Joyce Borghi.
Our guest speaker for today is Corporal Patty McNeil. At this time, we will hear from our guest speaker.
Good morning. I'd like to thank the American Legion and everyone for sharing Veterans Day here today. Thank you for having me here today. I'd like to thank the American Legion and Leisure Village for having me here to celebrate Veterans Day with everyone. My name is Patty McNeil. I am a veteran of the United States Army. I served in the early 80s, and I did my A school in Fort Eustis, Virginia, and became an aircraft structural repair for the helicopters serving the Army. My first tour was in Korea, where I was stationed at 2nd Division, Camp Casey, where we maintained the helicopters that were providing services to the troops along the DMZ and running up and down through Seoul. While I was stationed there, I also did my jump training and my rappelling training in Jeju, Korea. I moved on after that tour to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and served with the 326 Medevac unit, the Eagle Dust-Off unit for the 101st Airborne Division. After my tour there, I rotated out and I started serving with the National Guard here at the MacArthur Airfield. After that had happened, my husband at the time was called into Desert Storm, and I had rotated out of the National Guard as we had 2 children. One was born at Fort Benning, Georgia, and Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And we had to preserve our family while my husband served in deployment. Today, I continue to instill in my children, and they know, and salute the veterans, and are proud of their mother and father every day. And they know exactly what Armistice Day is. And we continue to serve and raise funds for the Wounded Warrior Project. We honor the veterans. Last night we honored them at the Hibernian Hall in East Islip, New York, for all their services. I continue to make use of the VA system in Northport, as it was part of my veteran status as well as everyone else's. And I think that was one of the greatest benefits that I received from the service, as well as the honor and the pride of serving this country. Today, on the 11th day of the month, and of the 11th month, at the 11th hour, for a few minutes, we remember all our veterans who have served and who have gone before us and who we were so proud of. But we have to continue to remember throughout every day of our lives that America would not be America without these veterans. And we have to continue to give them the gratitude and support and the respect every day of our lives for what they have given us today. Thank you for having me here today. I really appreciate it, and I am very proud to be a veteran and living in this wonderful country of the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patty. At this time, we'll now hear from the President of the Auxiliary. Joyce.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Veterans Day celebration here, of which we are really very proud. As we celebrate Veterans Day, I feel honored to be standing up here in front of so many people who are interested in honoring our men and women. Recent events have made us realize what we have as Americans and the freedom we enjoy. Today, we recognize those who have protected and continue to protect our way of life. We celebrate this day, we honor veterans today because we know that without them, there would be no land of the free. Without the veterans of different wars who fought on either side for what they believed in, the strong, united America we know today might never have been possible. Without those currently fighting the war on terrorism, we would be living in constant fear or simply without freedom. All of our veterans have protected our democracy, our freedom, our way of life. Today we honor and thank them. And tomorrow, we must continue to honor them. They have given us the chance to live in freedom today and an opportunity to look forward to tomorrow. They have given us every day, and they have protected every freedom. We must honor them every day, in every way that we can. Please say a prayer for the 1,500 men and women leaving for Iraq today. And thank you for honoring our veterans. May God bless them, you, and America. God bless America.
Thank you, Joyce. "70 years ago, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed what many historians consider the greatest social legislation ever passed by the U.S. Congress. As popular as the GI Bill remains today, it will took the horrific cost of bloodshed of World War II to remind many Americans just how great a debt is owed to our veterans. In 1932, thousands of World War I veterans camped out in Washington, D.C. to petition the government that for bonuses that they were owed. Their campsites was forcibly overrun by the U.S. Army, and at least 2 veterans were killed by the police. Franklin Delano Roosevelt told the American Legion Convention in 1933 that, quote, "No person, because he wore a uniform, must thereafter be placed in a special class of beneficiaries over the above other citizens," unquote. While Roosevelt later proved himself to be a great wartime commander-in-chief, and what others have failed to realize at the time is that the veterans were not asking to be part of a special class. They just wanted a shot at the American dream that they fought so hard to defend. Most Americans profess to truly love our veterans, especially at gatherings like this on Veterans Day. And while their feelings are usually sincere, it is important to remember the military defending us 365 days a year. The heroism that has been demonstrated time and again by the veterans from the American Revolution to the global war on terrorism is sometimes unnoticed by those of us who enjoy the security and their sacrifices have provided. Army Staff Sergeant Clinton Rushmere has been at war in the very worst. While serving at a combat outpost in Keating, Afghanistan, he and his comrades awakened to attack by an estimated 300 enemy fighters on October 3, 2009. According to his medal citation, Sergeant Rushmere took out an enemy machine gun team and engaged in taking out a second, when he received a shrapnel wound from the pocket-propelled grenade. He continued to fight on. He killed 3 other Taliban fighters and directed air support to destroy 30 other enemies, being awarded the nation's highest medal of medal for his bravery. The joy, he said, comes from recognition, doing our job as soldiers on a distant battlefield, but is counted by the constant reminder of the loss of our battle buddies, my friends. For many veterans, our nation was important enough to endure long separation from their families, miss the birth of their children, freezing in sub-zero temperature, but baked in wild jungles, losing limbs, and far too often losing their lives. Military spouses have endured careers interruption, frequent changes of address, and a deep appropriation share of parental responsibility. The children often had to deal with changes in school, separations from friend, and hardest of all, the uncertainty of whether or not mom or dad will live through the next combat tour. Warriors need advocates, and that is why the American Legion exists. We are here to serve veterans, their family, and our community. And veterans need each other, but more important, our country needs the veterans. Our debt to these heroes can never be repaid, but our gratitude and respect must last forever. Thank God for these heroes. God bless all of us. We will wait a few minutes because it's not quite 11 o'clock before I ring the bell for the honored dead. Would my prized friend Jimmy Mondo step forward?
Come on, James. Come on, Jimmy.
I can't hear too good. I can't hear too good.
I'll yell loud as I can.
Okay.
Jimmy, it's been my pleasure to serve with you for many years. This is a plaque to you for your service in the world and your chaplaincy to this organization. For 20 years, you were the chaplain.
Thank you very much. It's really overwhelming. I didn't expect anything like this. I didn't expect anything like this as long as I live. But I appreciate it, and I thank you very much, and I thank all of the members of the Legion. Thank you very much.
We are stalling because we can't ring the bell until exactly 11 o'clock. We got about 5 minutes. So talk among yourselves. I also want to remember the members that there is a meeting tonight. So please be present for the elections.
Just a quick background for the Great War and Armistice Day. While we're waiting, I figured I'd share this with you. Through the Treaty of Versailles, was signed on June 28, 1919. November 11th remained in the public imagination as the date that marked the end of the Great War. In November 1918, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed November 11th as the first commemoration of Armistice Day. The day's observation included parades and public gatherings, as well as brief pause in business activities at 11 a.m. on November 11th, 1921. An unidentified American soldier killed in the war was buried at Arlington National Cemetery in Washington, D.C. The U.S. Congress had declared the day a legal federal holiday in honor of all those who participated in the war. On the same day, unidentified soldiers were laid to rest at Westminster Abbey in London and at the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. Red poppies, a symbol of World War I, are sold on Remembrance Day to raise money for veterans who are worn in the lapel as a tribute. Just a little background. And then on June 4th, 1926, Congress passed a resolution that the recurring anniversary of November 11th, 1918 should be commemorated with Thanksgiving and prayer and exercises designed to perpetuate peace through goodwill and mutual understanding between nations. And that President should issue an annual proclamation calling for the observance of Armistice Day. By that time, 27 legislators had made November 11th a legal holiday.